Thank you, Mr. Garza. And now I am pleased to introduce Marcus Shaw, CEO and President of AltFinance. AltFinance helps students at historically Black colleges and universities explore a future in finance. He oversees the AltFinance Fellowship program at 4 HBCUs, including Clark Atlanta University, Howard University, Morehouse College, and Spelman College. The AltFinance Fellowship introduces students to investing and operations and taps into their entrepreneurial spirit.
Marcus has spent more than 20 years as an executive in the financial industry. Most recently, Marcus served as chief executive at the Company Lab and has led programs dedicated to innovation, equity, and the development of young professionals at Montgomery Tech Lab and MLT. He earned a bachelor's degree in mathematics from Morehouse College and a bachelor's degree in engineering from Georgia Tech, as well as an MBA from Duke University's Fuqua School of Business. Now please put your hands together as we welcome Mr. Marcus Shaw.
How's everybody doing? This table over here is doing good. These guys are doing good. I'll give everybody else one more chance. How's everybody doing? Much better. Good evening. First and foremost, I'd like to thank LEDA and the nominating committee for this recognition. But more than that, I want to recognize the incredible LEDA fellows and alumni in the room. By a show of hands, can we see the alumni and fellows that are in the room? Scholars and fellows. I am truly humbled by your ambition and perseverance. And I'm honored to address the entire body today as we gather to celebrate the achievements and the promise of remarkable young people and to reflect on the transformative power of opportunity, leadership, and community. As the CEO of AltFinance, an organization dedicated to increasing diversity in the alternative investment industry, I've witnessed firsthand the profound impact that education can have on the lives of individuals and the continuous improvement of our society. Education is not just a means to an end, but rather it is a lifelong pursuit that fosters intellectual curiosity, empathy, and risk-taking. That is the core of what it takes to be a leader. Intellectual curiosity, empathy, and risk-taking. You have to do things slightly different than what other people are willing to do. You have to learn, you have to think, and you have to act. For much of this country's history, the pursuit of education has provided the greatest leverage for our citizens. David shared his story. Incredible leverage that education has provided for David, and incredible leverage that is provided for everybody in this room that has had the opportunity to go through the program LEDA. I believe in almost all cases, barriers erected based on race, gender, class, religion, and even sexual orientation have been dismantled through the pursuit of learning and experiences and empathy. I look at the life of my father, who fled the cotton fields of Mississippi in the 1940s to join the U.S. Navy. Through the Navy, he became a non-traditional student, starting his undergraduate degree in his 30s and completing his PhD at the ripe age of 54. Thank you. I also look to my mother, who enjoyed what I call a Black Rockwellian experience in the segregated Durham, North Carolina community, where she attended North Carolina Central, a historically Black college, as at that time, HBCUs were the only colleges that would accept women of her hue. Somehow these two people found very different paths and found ways to lead through their own individual paths. One through the armed services and a career in the federal government, and the other through the classrooms of public education systems up and down the East Coast, More importantly, they imbued in me a sense of purpose and responsibility to lead. I've been an engineer, an investor, a community leader, a founder, a CEO, a son, a brother, uncle, husband, and a father. But in all these capacities, it's the unrelenting urge to lead that wakes me up in the morning. And while education is proven to be a key factor, it is imperative upon us to cultivate leaders who dare to find a corner of the world to have positive impact. With generous sponsorship from my partners at Apollo, Ares, and Oaktree, AltFinance is working to positively impact a little $10 trillion corner of the world known as alternative investments. That was a joke. $10 trillion is not very little. But it is a relatively young industry. For most of the firms in private equity and private capital, the founders are still living. And in that time, firms have not fully recognized, embraced, or benefited from the value of a diverse workforce. And we are working with HBCUs like my alma mater, Morehouse College, and my wife's alma mater, Spelman College, to educate and expose some of the brightest minds at those institutions to one of the nation's most competitive and rewarding industries. HBCUs have a rich history of producing black leaders in law, medicine, politics, and engineering. And at AltFinance, we are working to create a similar legacy of leadership in the world of finance. Organizations like AltFinance and LEDA are in the third wave of building a more equitable country. By most standards, the law of the land has determined that we are all free and we are all equal. However, we continue to wrestle with the concept of equity. That is specifically where the private sector can add value, because the private sector understands how to make investments. The private sector understands the relationship between talent, innovation, and profit. For the folks in this room that are supporters of organizations like LEDA and AltFinance, you understand that your contributions are investments that provide opportunities for future leaders to improve future outcomes. You are investing in more than individuals. You are investing in communities, sustainable communities that support intellectual curiosity, empathy, and risk-taking. As we hear from the other incredible honorees this evening and bear witness to the impact of LEDA, let's renew our commitment to investing in organizations like LEDA. Let me say that one more time. Let's renew our commitment to investing in organizations like LEDA. Because it is organizations like LEDA that are providing underserved students, like the brilliant men and women that we see here this evening, with opportunities, leadership, and community. Let us work together to build a brighter and more equitable future. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Marcus Shaw, for your inspiring words tonight, as well as your unwavering commitment to advancing diversity and inclusion. We're not only so happy to have you here tonight, but we cannot wait to see what else you will accomplish.